All right, Michael, so how do we get our sons talking about their bullying experience? Because I understand this can be a really difficult first step to take.
Yeah, there's a couple of things to keep in mind with this one. One is that they're not going to talk in the same way that your teenage daughter is going to talk. Well, they're less likely to. And that's, you could say it's cultural, you could say it's just the impact of a Y chromosome. It doesn't matter what the reason is. They're not going to talk like your daughter would, or if you're a mum, like you would have when you were that age. So you want to be really deliberate about creating an environment where they can talk. One thing to be careful of is how you talk about your son. You don't want him to feel like he's viewed by you or by dad as weak. Because if he's viewed as weak, he can't be real, because as soon as he's real, that's weakness. You need to create with your words that by being real about what you're dealing with inside, that's actually a sign of strength.
Yeah, it is. And understanding that this is how I'm feeling and how can I deal with that, that's a really strong sign of maturity and of manhood.
Yeah, and also with that, a lot of mums are like, well, how do I get my son to even begin to open up? He just hides away, especially when he's going through tough times. We hide away. Your girlfriend would attest to that. My wife would attest to that. When we're going through tough times, we do want to shut down. What would be some advice for the mums there?
Well, I think the number one tip for mums going into this is that it's going to be very hard to sit down at the dinner table and have a face-to-face conversation with his son. That's not this, because there's that huge barrier straight away. A really easy thing to do to take away that fear and that hesitancy to open up about someone is to remove yourself from that face-to-face conversation and start to have a side-to-side or a shoulder-to-shoulder talk. And simple ways of doing that is taking the dog for a walk or taking him for a drive in the car. And from there, you'll see that, something as simple as taking away the fear of, looking into mum's eyes and this being a really intense moment between us can actually develop into a conversation that's really open and free and really productive.
That's so true. It's almost like a lot of mums think, if I can just be face-to-face with my son, he'll be more real. It's like, that's not how it works. If you can get him busy, then he'll be more real. And I know I wanted to have a really serious chat with a good friend of mine who was going through a tough time recently, so I took him out and played golf with him. I spent the first hour talking about nothing, and then he actually opened up because we were side by side. And you can do the same with your husband. If he won't talk to you, get him busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Take him golfing.
Yeah, but don't expect your son to sit down and have a coffee with you in a deep and meaningful. It's not going to happen like that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with feeling like the spotlight is on him. Okay, so he knows that these issues sort of have to come out, but if he feels like there's an intense scrutiny for each and every single one of them, then there's sort of that hesitancy and that unwillingness to open up completely.
That's right, and it's also a spotlight not just on him but on his weaknesses. He doesn't want to sit there and go, oh, here's my weaknesses, I struggle with this and this. He doesn't want to do that. He's built, a teenage boy is built to experience success. That's why he spends all day on the PlayStation. He's experiencing constant success there. So I guess it's a matter of picking your times where he's busy, picking your times where you're side by side, not face to face, and also slow and steady. And it's not like him talking it out is going to magically solve it anyway for him. What's going to solve it is him getting skills. You want him to talk it out so that you can actually address those skills.
All right, so Michael, when getting their sons to talk about their bullying experience, how do mums stick to the facts rather than the emotions when they're talking?
Yeah, that's really important, Jared. He does not want to talk about the emotions, especially straight up, but asking questions like, what happened? Oh, what happened next? Oh, what did people say? Oh, why do you think that happened? And just keeping it to the facts means that he can actually start to be real with you. And then once you've done the facts, over a number of conversations, then he's ready to start talking about how he felt. But you can't just dive into the feelings.
And why is that so important for boys to be able to talk about what actually happened rather than how they felt about what happened?
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact reason. I just know it works. I think it's because when he's relaying facts, there's no shame in that. There's no spotlight on his failure. There's just facts. And then once you've had those facts and he's seen that he's safe to be real without being viewed as a loser by his parents or something, then he's a bit more open. But I mean, a lot of these conversations, they're really not even mum and dad conversations. They're conversations to have with your youth leader at youth group, or your scout leader, or your uncle. It's a lot easier to have these conversations with, say, I don't know, someone at tutoring, or at a sporting club than with mum and dad. And it's hard because when you're a parent, you expect to be the resource for your child. But, it may not be that in this case, and that's okay as long as someone has these conversations with him, someone who you trust.